Hello everyone, I'm Rafael Alvarez, this is Alvarez Metalworks. So this intro, if you guys watch the other transmission video, is just to follow up on a bunch of videos that I created. Well, I got my finger here in front of the camera. Gotta switch hands, arm's getting tired. I created a bunch of videos months ago, never finished them. I'm trying to piece them all together because I think it's useful information to BMW owners of this particular model of car. It's a 2000 BMW 740AL. And basically this video here is to show you how to replace the shift solenoids inside of the transmission, as well as what's involved with changing the filter inside of the transmission. Okay? I'll give you the quick rundown on what's involved with draining the fluid and what's involved with filling it back up, but really go check out my other video. Basically, you got your drain plug and you got a fill plug. There is no transmission dipsticks on these cars. You fill them and deal with them and attend to them like you would a manual transmission or a differential on a typical vehicle if you guys are familiar with doing those types of jobs. There's just a drain and a fill plug. You drain it all out and you fill it up until it starts pouring out of that fill plug. But with this particular situation, because it's an automatic transmission, you cap it off, you start the car, run it through its gears, leave the car running in park, get back underneath and top it off. It will take a lot more fluid once you do that. That is extremely important. Watch my other video, I'll explain that a little bit better. But this one's about the shift solenoid and the filter. So sit tight, let me go through these video clips. If you guys have any questions, because I left some stuff out, feel free to comment down in the description and I will talk to you guys in just a few. So what you're staring at right now is the bottom side of my 2000 BMW 740IL. We're looking at the transmission pan. I'm getting ready to pull this pan. I'm going to service the transmission, and I'm going to replace one of the solenoids inside of there, the shift solenoids. Okay, there's 5 of them. There's actually more solenoids than that, but there's 5 shift solenoids. I'm replacing the 5th one because it's throwing a code of being a problem and it's putting the transmission in safe mode. Okay, first off, let's talk jack stands. You need to have 4 jack stands if you're going to do this job. Your car needs to be up on those jack stands. Place them at the factory jack points. There's little rubber pads. Place them there. Get the car up as high as possible so that you got plenty of room to work. The reason why you need 4 jack stands and not just to raise up the front of the car is because when it comes time to fill this transmission, the car needs to be sitting as level as possible. Okay? We got our drain plug right there. You're going to need a metric Allen to get that off. Okay? I recommend this setup where you got a ratchet with the Allen. Don't try to just use Allen wrenches, it's never going to work. Your fill plug goes right here. I've already removed both of those plugs. Same thing, same Allen. As a matter of fact, it is an 8mm Allen. Okay, so you're going to remove both of those. Start with this one. Drain all the fluid out. There's still going to be fluid in this pan though, because there's lower sections of this pan than the drain plug, so be aware of that. I recommend getting a very, very large pan to catch the oil. I got this one from Home Depot. It is meant for like mixing concrete. I had bought it for mixing concrete, but I've been using it as an oil catch pan ever since, just because it's nice and large. When you're doing jobs like this, you need something large enough where you can catch all the fluid from all the way around the entire pan, because when you start pulling this off, you're going to start dropping a lot more fluid. Okay, it's not going to be a big gusher, but there's going to be still fluid dripping off of the valve body, and when it comes time to replace the filter in here, which we're going to do, when you pull that filter, you're going to have a bunch of fluid spill out. So to do the transmission filter, drain it all out, pull all these torque bits out here, and drop the pan down, and I will show you guys the next step after that. So sit tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so you see I got more oil draining out of here. This is what I did. I took all of the plug or all of the bolts out except for the one here in the center. Where is it? Right there. And the one that was up here in the center. I loosened them, but I didn't take them out. Then I took this one out and left this one in to hold the pan, but what it does is allow the pan to lean towards the drain plug, therefore letting whatever fluid's been trapped in this area drain out, so hopefully it doesn't make a massive mess. There was quite a bit of fluid that came out of there, so I highly recommend doing that just to save on the cleanup. And not get a big surprise running all over your face and arm and everything else. So anyway, sit tight. I'm going to get the rest of this off and I'll be right back. Okay, so got the pan off. Even though I leaned the pan, there was still a pretty decent amount of oil in it. So just be prepared for that. I was lucky and didn't spill any of it. So your transmission filter right here. You have a bolt here and a bolt here, and then you should be able to wiggle it out. Okay, drop it straight down. There should be an O-ring on the top of it, so make sure that you get that out and you replace that O-ring when you put the filter back in. If you don't do that, it won't seal and you won't be able to suck up the fluid out of the pan. So that's a step that you absolutely cannot forget. This is your valve body. This is what transfers all the fluid to where it needs to go so that the car shifts or the transmission shifts properly. Because this is an electronic transmission, these are all the electronic solenoids that help run the valve body and direct the fluid where it's supposed to go. One of those fails, like I have, and it sends a failure to the transmission ECU and the ECM, and it will put it in safe mode. So here's all the solenoids that we're talking about here. You got 3 of these brown ones, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the black ones, and then you have the silver one here at the end. Okay, there should be a total of 8, I believe. Yeah, 8 of them. Okay, I'll be back and I'll explain to you guys what all of these are for. But essentially, we have this plate right here that needs to be removed. Then we'll be able to pull this out and pull the plug. And now I'm not replacing one of these, I'm replacing one of these. I need to look at my reference paper to find out which one of these is the one that I need to replace. Okay everyone, I'm here at my desk. I'm going to show you what I have here. These are they're called pressure regulating solenoids, okay? And they're EDS codes. So I have an EDS 5, which is this one. Again, these 4 are the black ones. This is a silver one, and these are the 3 brown ones, I believe they were. These are the MV1, MV2, MV3 stand for magnetic valves. These control your shifts, okay? The EDS 1 is used for your main pressure regulation. Your EDS 2, 3, and 5 are used for overlap shift pressure control, and EDS 4 is used for TCC application, GWK, gradually applied TCC. I don't know what TCC is. I don't really care. I don't have that problem, but I just wanted to show you. They do not go in order though. So they're not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 1, 4, 3, 2, 5, and then MV1, MV2, MV3. Okay, so I will be replacing this one. All right, sit tight, I'll be back. Okay everyone, so before I climb back underneath the car, I wanted to show you guys a better view of the old filter. Something I want you to see here. You see that? That's all metal. Clutch dust, metal, so on and so forth. You know, that's years and years and years of transmission wear. Other thing, these pans have magnets in them. Okay? That's all metal debris. This side's got a lot of it. Okay? That's not a good sign. I wouldn't say that it's anything to be alarmed about, but it's definitely not a good sign. Basically, it's telling me that this transmission's got a lot of miles on it. I already know that. And it's telling me that there's going to be a good chance that I'm going to need to replace this at some, or replace or rebuild this transmission at some point. Okay? So, hopefully that's not in the near future. Hopefully I can squeeze out another 50,000 miles or so out of it before I have to deal with any kind of problems like that. But we'll see. Only time will tell. So anyway, I'm going to clean this all up real good. These magnets will come out. They're just, like I said, they're just magnets. They're just stuck in there. You see? So I'm going to take the magnets out. I'm going to clean the pan out real good. On the bright side, the pan doesn't really have any signs of a lot of metal debris on it. The magnets are doing their job. The filter's got that dust accumulated on it, but that's normal. The top side of this filter is plastic. See, inside of here is the actual filter, and it's probably filled with all that metal debris. Okay? So, BMW's little theory on not having to service these transmissions is just false. 100% false. If this transmission would have been, fluid would have been changed regularly in it, I would say at least at 60,000, maybe 50, 60,000 miles, and then again at around 120, excuse me. And then again at roughly about 100,000, we would be in a lot better shape right now as far as all this is concerned. But it's not, and it is what it is. So don't panic as long as you're not having any issues where you're having hard shifting or your transmission slipping. Safe mode is something that the computer puts your transmission in it to theoretically protect it. So don't count that as transmission wear or signs of it failing. Now I will tell you this, these little solenoids here, they're really expensive, okay? This little tiny bad boy right here is about $180, $190, okay? And you saw there's 8 of them. Now, realistically, if you're going to crack this thing open to replace this, if you have the money, replace all of them. If you replace all of them, then you're going to be in a much better situation. I don't have the money to replace, 200, basically I don't have $1,600 to throw around at this transmission. And if I did, I'd probably just go get a whole rebuild valve body and replace the entire valve body before I'd sit there and just replace these things. But if you have the money to do so and you're willing to tackle this job and you need to replace one of these, replace all of them. But again, you may want to look into just replacing the whole valve body. It's not a difficult job. There's a whole bunch of torque bolts underneath there that you got to undo, but the valve body just drops down. And you put a new one back up there and it should have all these solenoids in there. So anyway, let me get all this cleaned up. Then I'm going to climb back under the car and start putting it all together. So be right back. Okay everyone, under the car again. Got this rail taken out, take all the bolts off, it just slides out. To get the solenoid out, stick a screwdriver in here and just pop it out, okay? Put the new one in, you just push it in. Make sure the rail goes back in that groove, and it holds all those in place. Then I'm going to come over here to the oil filter. I'm making sure that I got a new O-ring here. And you'll see that part on the filter. I'm not going to show you guys the install on that because I'm trying to hurry it up with this. Install the 2 bolts. Then, obviously connect all your wires up as well over here. And then put the pan back up. I used a little bit of not RTV silicone, but actual transmission like gasket silicone type stuff that I had for my Nissan. Just to hold that gasket in place. Not a lot, just a couple of dabs here and there. There was no silicone on the factory gasket, so I highly recommend not using that if you can avoid it. But the gasket was all folded up in the box and didn't want to lay flat, so I needed something to hold it in place. Anyway, I'm going to get all this put back together, and then we'll get back to you when we get ready to start filling it up. Okay, everyone. Hopefully you got some information out of that. Hopefully it helps you guys out. Like I said, check out the other video that goes through that helps describe the process of changing the fluid better than what I'm doing here. And again, if you guys have any questions, because I know this was not a complete video series that I put together, ask it down in the description, and I'll do my best to answer and help you guys out. I'm not here to solve the world's problems when it comes to BMWs. I'm not a BMW expert. This is the first one I've ever owned, and I haven't even owned it a year, and I'm learning how to do this on a crash course type deal. I'm not even using the car right now because it's wintertime and I'm putting it away. So God knows what kind of problems I'm going to have in the spring when I pull it out. Hopefully it goes all summer without having any more issues, because the ones I've had so far have been kind of expensive. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like always, subscribe, comment, like. Oh, one last thing. If there was any talk in the video about why I was doing this job, just ignore it, okay? Like I said in the fill video, I did this trying to solve a problem that ultimately was not the real problem, okay? Watch the other video if you guys have questions. Just type BMW into the search into my videos and you'll find it. It was uploaded the same date as this, so if you're watching it right away in the your subscription section of your YouTube feed, you'll see it there too. So thanks for watching. Like always, subscribe, comment, like. Check out RoarkSupply.com. Use coupon code METAL to get 10% off your entire order. And thanks for the support. Talk to you guys later.